it's me, Miss Jess, and today we're going to be working on our sports skill, okay? So we're going to be learning a little bit about basketball, and we're going to be doing some dribbling, okay? So what you are going to need is a ball, so it needs to be nice and strong and sturdy, okay? So make sure you've got one of these, and also make sure you've got plenty of space. You can do this one either in your garden or in your home, but make sure you do ask your grown-ups for your help and making sure that everywhere is clear, because we don't want any accidents or we don't want to cause a mess, okay? And we're also going to be needing either a basket hoop. If you do not have one of them, don't worry. You can either use a pillow or a bin, so a little basket or something like that, okay? And I will explain that a little bit more later on, okay? And also, if you want, you can do this one with a friend or a sibling that is in the house. So we're going to be starting by learning our dribbling, okay? So like I said, make sure you've got a sturdy ball, and we're going to start by holding our hands. So in this shape, I'll show you a little bit closer. We're going to hold it up to our chest, so making sure our elbows are bent out to the sides, and our hands are a little bit closer to the top of the ball. We're not going to be dropping it, we're going to be pushing it down to the floor, okay? And we're not using the palms of our hands, we're going to be using the fingers to help push it down to the floor, okay? So we're using two hands to start off with. Make sure we've got a nice stance with our feet a little bit further apart. We're going to push down to the floor and try and bring it all the way up, okay? So you need to have a little bit of force to push it down so it can bounce all the way back up and you can catch it, okay? So give this one a go, making sure you're holding the ball with both hands. Push down and up, down and up. So like I said, you need to have a bit of force to push it down to the floor so it comes all the way back up. Keep your eye on the ball as well, just in case you do end up bouncing it over to the side, so you know which way to go to catch it, okay? You can bend your knees as well if this helps. So give this one a practice, bouncing down and up, down and up. So make sure you do have a ball that is quite good at bouncing, okay? And it's nice and big so it fits in between both of your hands. So pushing down from your chest, down and up, down to the floor, all the way back up so we can catch it. And like I said, pushing with your fingertips into the ball, down and up. Okay, good job. Keep practicing that one at home. We're going to try and do this one with one hand now, if you have mastered doing it with both hands. So like I said, keep an eye on the ball the whole time, but we are going to try with one hand this time, okay? So you can start holding it in the position that I have it. So you can have one hand on the bottom, one hand on the top. Obviously the hand that's on the top is the one that's going to be pushing it down to the floor. Okay, so make sure we've got a nice strong stance and we have our knees bent if you need them. We're going to be pushing down with this hand and trying to catch. Okay, so you can try and catch it again in the same position. So starting like this, one hand on the top, one hand on the bottom, push down and catch up. Okay, so starting off nice and slow, pushing down and up. So the same motion, pushing with your fingers down into the floor. You can try with the other hand. Everyone has a stronger hand, so mine's obviously my right hand because that is the hand that I write with. Pushing down and up. Okay, so make sure you've got a little bit of force pushing it into the ground. Okay, good job. So this time, we're going to continually push it to the floor, okay? So we're not going to catch it and stop. We're just going to keep bouncing it, keep pushing it into the floor, okay? So you can try with two hands if you're still struggling with one hand. So not catching it and stopping, we're just going to keep bouncing and pushing it into the floor. And again, using your fingertips to do this. If you do want a challenge and you are quite good at doing it with both hands, we're going to do this one with one hand. Okay, so pushing down into the floor. Make sure you've got a nice big push. My ball isn't very bouncy today, so it's not going too high. You can try with the other hand. Okay, pushing it all the way down into the floor. Make sure you've got your nice bent knees, you're keeping an eye on the ball. Okay, good job. And now we're going to be trying to pass it from one hand to the other. Okay, so bouncing it into the floor, and we're switching hands. Okay, so you can go nice and slow. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. But to try and get a little bit more of a bounce on it and making sure it's coming all the way up, you do have to be slightly quicker. So again, pushing with your fingers and not the palms of your hands, down into the floor, down and up. Okay, so making sure we're switching hands, right hand, right, left. Okay, you can pass it like this, in a little bit of a V shape, or you can just bounce it in the same position, trying to get it to land on the floor, pushing it down. Okay, good job everyone, that was very good dribbling. You can try this one now, if you do have space, you can try and do it across the floor. Okay, so it is easier with bent knees. You can push again, one hand to the other, or you can do one hand, the other hand, or again, if you are struggling, you can just do it with both hands to make it a little bit easier, okay? But walking as you're going, so the important thing is keeping an eye on the ball and trying to stay at the same level as where the ball is, okay? Good job. Okay, if you do want to try this with someone else, you can try and do some throwing and catching, okay? If you do have a sibling or someone else in the house, you're going to hold it in the same position as we did at the start, where we was pushing it into the ground with our elbows out, except this time, instead of our hands being on the top, we're going to have our hands to our chest, okay? And you're going to be passing it, doing a big push, okay? So you can put one foot in front of the other, having our knees nice and bent. You can do a big push all the way over to the other person, and as you're catching, in the same position with your hands like this, ready to catch, and they can throw it back to you, and you can catch. Okay, so you can give that one a go as well at home if you do have someone you can practice with. If not, we're going to be moving on to trying to practice our throwing. So obviously not many people have one of these at home, so you can, like I said earlier, you can either place a pillow or something on the back of a sofa or somewhere like that to represent the top part, so the board of our net, okay? And for the net, you can use a basket or a little bin, something that's wide enough to fit the ball in, okay? And like I said, make sure you do get permission from your parents to do this because we don't want to make a mess. Okay, so it's the same as when we're passing. We're going to have our hands in that position near our chest with our hands behind the ball. So with our knees bent, aiming up towards the pillow. Okay, so make sure it's nice and secure. We're going to try and do a big push, so make sure you're not too close, otherwise you'll end up hitting the basket or whatever you've got. But make sure you're not too far away as well. Okay, you can practice that one if you do practice a lot and you are getting better. But we're going to start slightly further apart from it. And we're going to do a big push, our chest pass like we do when we're throwing to our partners. We're going to do a big push up to the pillow and hopefully it will bounce on the pillow and drop into our basket. Okay, bounce and down, just like that. Okay, so give this one a go. If you do want a challenge, you can try and do it with one hand. Okay, so like we do with our throwing in any other situation, we can hold it with one hand with our elbow bent near our ear. We're going to point our other arm out, so stretching out, so we're aiming, bending our knees, and we can do a big push up towards the pillow, big push, and then it might drop in, okay? You can try on the other hand too. This one isn't my strongest hand, so it might not go as well. Okay, so give that one a go. You can either do both hands, so pushing from your chest, or from one hand aiming up with your arm and landing in, okay? So I do want to see you practicing these at home if you can, if you've got space, but I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you all really soon. Thank you.